Welcome to the course Formal Languages and Automata Theory. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about continuation of finite automata. In the previous lecture, we discussed about various concepts of finite automata, its definition, model, acceptance of various strings and languages, how that can be done, that will be discussed in this class. Continuation with that, we will discuss some more topics related to finite automata. So that is structural representation, this we will discuss here. Then automata and complexity. These two topics also we will cover in this lecture. So now we will continue with the acceptance of strings and languages by finite automata. Before discussing the acceptance of languages and strings by finite automata, so we have to define the extended transition function definition of finite automata. That means delta. So that we will call it as properties of delta function of finite automata or extended delta definition of finite automata, which is denoted by the symbol delta bar or delta cap. So wherever delta bar or delta cap occurred, that is nothing but extended delta definition of finite automata. So the normal transition function delta takes two parameters. So one is state and another one input symbol. Whereas extended delta definition delta cap or delta bar takes two parameters. One is state same as delta. Another one, the second one, in place of input symbol, it takes strings, that is sigma closure. Therefore, the delta definition of extended delta function of finite automata is defined as delta cap equal to q cross sigma closure to q. So you can remove the closure to sigma, then this delta definition is same as finite automata definition. But the difference is here, it takes strings in place of input symbols. That is the difference. So this is the delta extended delta definition of extended delta definition of finite automata. With this now, what are the properties are used for extended delta definition? So there are, we have two properties. The first one, so with extended delta, that is delta cap, from a state q naught with empty input, here epsilon or lambda, this is empty, means null, empty string or null string. So here what you will get the same state. That means there is no change of state here. So here you can observe, from a state q naught with empty string or empty input epsilon or lambda, you will get the same state, where the state is belongs to q, the set of states. This means the state of the system can be changed only by an input symbol. So with empty string or null string, there is no change. Then coming to second property, so here by taking a state with a string followed by an input symbol, here w is string, the a is input symbol. This can be written by using delta. So delta cap of, we will separate the input symbol, rightmost symbol. So q naught w. So these two can make it as one group, then separated the rightmost input symbol a. Let us assume this entire result as p. Here what is p? Again, which is a state of q, where small a terminal, that is input alphabet. Then q naught is initial state, which is belongs to q, whereas w is belongs to sigma closure, that is string. W is a string taken from sigma closure. So this property we will use during the problems in finite automata and also acceptance of strings and languages. During these two cases, these two properties are used. Then moving to acceptance of strings by finite automata. The condition or the definition of acceptance of strings by finite automata is defined as, let us assume a string W. So a string W is accepted by the finite automata, which is defined as phi tuple or quintuple M equal to Q sigma delta Q naught F. So the condition is if the extended delta definition, delta cap, from a initial state Q naught with the given input string W, you can find this value using our extended delta definition of finite automata. Finally, you will get a state or a set of states. In this, for some P belongs to F. P means here, in this set, whatever the states, at least some state or one state belongs to F. F is the final state. So then we can say the string W is accepted by the given finite automata. This is basically the acceptability of a string by the final state. So this is the condition of acceptance of strings by finite automata. Similar thing for acceptance of language by finite automata also, that we will see later. First we will see one example problem on acceptance of strings by finite automata. So let us consider this problem. Consider the transition diagram as shown below. Check whether the input string AAB is accepted or not by the given finite automata. So this is the given finite automata. So what it contains? So this automata contains the state Q0, then Q1, Q2. So here Q2 is the final state. Why? Because represented within double circle. Therefore F equal to Q2. Then all the transitions are combination of A, B inputs. A, B inputs. Therefore sigma equal to A comma B input alphabet. Then the total states are Q0, Q1, Q2. So that is nothing but capital Q. Then the transitions are listed below. So first delta of Q0 on A equal to Q1, then Q0 on B equal to Q0, then Q1 on A equal to Q1, Q1 on B equal to Q2, then Q2 on A equal to Q2, then Q2 on B also Q2. So now here what you have to do with this automaton, so you need to verify the string AAB is accepted or not. So here what you have to do, so here first we need to find out with extended delta definition. So delta cap of with initial state with the given input string. This value you need to find out. So using our extended delta definition, so you can separate input symbol every time. Before input symbol remaining you can assume it as W using the property 2. So now this can be written as delta of delta cap of Q0 comma A is one group, then B is separated. So next time separate this A, then this left A you can assume it as W. Again this again apply the same rule recursively. Now this can be delta cap, again it can be written as delta of, so delta cap of Q0 comma A. Now the input we are separating is A, then already separated one is B. So again you can separate A. So if you can separate A before, after separating A here, what you will get? So then you will get empty, that is null. Now this can be written as delta of, again you can apply this one, the extended rule. So delta of delta cap of, now Q0 comma A is separated. Now the remaining symbol is null, empty. So now comma A, so comma A, so then B. So now like that you have to expand till all symbols are separated from the W till you will get null. Now you know this value using the rule 1. So in the extended delta definition, rule 1, delta cap of Q0 comma null equal to Q0. That means there is no change of state with empty string. This value is now Q0. Now you can substitute Q0 here. Now you will get delta of delta of delta of. So what is this value? Entire delta cap of Q0 comma null equal to Q naught. Now the input comes to here now A, then remaining inputs remains same. So now delta cap is removed. Now all are with combination of delta. We know the delta values from the given automata. So now you can substitute all the transitions one by one. Now delta of Q naught on A. So delta of Q naught on A equal to Q1. Substitute this value in place of this. Now you will get delta of now what is this value? Q1. The next input symbol comes to this state. Then remaining input is B. So now again next delta of Q1 on A. Again now you can say delta of Q1 on A equal to Q1. So now you will get delta. Now this entire value is Q1. The input is now B. Now delta of Q1 on B, only single transition. Now you can see Q1 on B equal to Q2. So let us assume this is equal to P. So here what we mentioned, some P belongs to F. Is it true or not? Now P is Q2. So here what is F? So here F is Q2. So therefore Q2 belongs to F. So then conclusion you can write down, therefore Q2 belongs to F. It is satisfying the condition of acceptance of strings by the given finite automata. Therefore the string, so what is the string here? AAB is accepted by the given finite automata. So like that you can verify for any given automata, any given string, whether it is accepted or not. By using the extended delta definition, we can verify. Now here is the solution what I explained clearly here stepwise. I have given what is the value substituted. So you also practice this and take another random string. You also verify whether that is accepted or not. Then let us take another example problem. Second example, suppose an automata has states q equal to q1, q2, sigma equal to a comma b, initial state equal to q1 now, q naught equal to q1, f equal to q2, and delta is given as. Now you need to verify the two strings. So first one is a b b a, second one is b a b b a b. So you need to verify all strings separately whether accepted or not, finally based on the final result. Now let us see one by one the solution. So here I have entered the solution. So you can practice with your hand step by step, then only you will clearly understand. So first, like previous problem, how we have splitted the string with input symbols. So here the string is first we have taken A, B, B, A. So first we can separate A. So that means here A, B, B is one group, then A is one group by applying delta, extended delta definition. Delta of delta cap of here Q1, Q naught is Q1 value directly given. So delta cap of Q1 comma A, B, B, A. So next step separate B. So now B is separated, already A is there. Now remaining part is AB. Again you can apply delta delta cap of Q1 comma AB comma B comma A. So next step separate B, rightmost one. So then previous deltas remains as it is, new delta will be added every time whenever you are expanding delta cap. Then delta cap of Q1 comma A. So then remaining the symbol separated. Now A is there, again you can separate A also. Again you can apply for this delta, already three deltas are there, extra delta will be added. Fourth one, delta of delta cap of Q1 comma. After removing A, then what you will get? Null, epsilon. Q1 comma epsilon comma. Now you can see all your symbols presented in the string are included here. A, B, B, A. So now we know this value using our extended delta definition. So delta cap of Q naught on epsilon equal to Q naught. That means there is no change of state with empty input. Here Q1 or Q1 whatever, you will get the same state only. So now this value is now Q1, you can substitute here Q1. Now the current input comes here. Now delta cap is removed. Now all are combination of delta. you can substitute these values by using the given automaton. Now delta of Q1 on A, so delta of Q1 on A equal to Q1. You can see the transition diagram. So Q1, now this B comes here, now Q1 on B. Next again delta of Q1 on B equal to Q2, you can see the transitions. Now delta of Q2 on B, this B comes here. Delta of Q2 on B equal to Q1, now the last input A. Now delta of Q1 on A equal to, you will get Q1. So but here, this is not Q0, Q1. So Q1 is not belongs to F. So you can go back and check what is the final state given here. Here you can see. So here final state is, what is the final state given? F equal to Q2. So F equal to Q2. So but what we got here, finally we got Q1, which is not belongs to F. Therefore the conclusion, the string ABBA is not accepted by the finite automata, given finite automata. Like that you have to verify. Then coming to another string, second string, BA, BB, AB. Similar fashion, you can extract using the extended delta definition. Then you can verify finally what you will get. So step by step expansion, then substitution. Finally, you will get a Q1 on B. So Q1 on B equal to Q2. Therefore, Q2 belongs to F. So Q2 is the final state. Therefore, the string here, the string BB, BA, BB, AB is accepted by the given finite automata. So there is no condition for every string needs to accept with the given finite automata. By applying the process based on the result, whether you will get a final state by applying the given input string, by substituting the transitions of the finite automata, then only you can say the string is accepted. If you won't get any final state, then the string is not accepted by the given finite automata. So you can practice again these two strings and previous problem also, then you will get a clear idea. Then next concept, acceptance of languages by finite automata. So this is also similar process, but here we will take first language. From language we will take some satisfying strings, then apply the same process for string acceptance. Once the string is accepted, then automatically language is also accepted. That is the process we will follow here. So a language L is accepted by a finite automata M equal to Q sigma delta Q naught M, which is denoted by L of M. So in the basic fundamental concepts of automata theory, during formal language, we discussed L of M actually. So the language recognized by an acceptor or recognizer or abstract model. Now here the abstract model is finite automata. So and this is nothing but the set of all strings accepted by M. So the condition is, this is the condition. L of M equal to X, X is the string such that, so this is extended delta definition. Delta cap of Q naught comma X is in some F. So find out this extended delta value for the string X. If you will get a final state in F, then you can say the string is accepted by the given finite automata. Then the language is automatically accepts the given finite automata. That is the condition. Now we will see an example problem how the question will be given. So acceptance of languages by finite automata. So let M equal to Q sigma delta Q naught F, where Q is Q naught Q1, sigma equal to A comma B, F equal to Q naught. So here the final state is Q naught, again initial state is also Q naught. Delta is given by the following transition table. So here these are the transitions, delta values. Then L of M, here this is the language. So what is the language given? L of M is the set of all strings in A comma B whole closure that have even number of b's. So this language satisfies all the strings of A comma B whole closure. So here sigma equal to A comma B. So then the language is sigma closure, sets of all strings. So how to write sigma closure? epsilon A B, then AA, AB, BA, BB, then take three combinations AAA, AAB, ABA, BAA, BBB, so and so on. So you will get set of strings. But here, what type of strings this language contains? Every time it contains even number of B's. So you can count even number of B's. So here no B's are there. Here also this is odd B. Here no B's are there. Here only one B odd. Here also odd. It satisfies. BB is the string related to this language. Then here also, here you can see even this is odd. So then you can take again B, A, B. So here two B's are there. So then A, B, A, B. Here you can see two B's are there. So like that, only these type of strings are belongs to this language, which consisting of even number of B's. Yes, whatever the count, but we need to satisfy only number of B's are even. So take any such string from this language, verify its acceptance by the given finite automata. Then whenever the string taken from this set is satisfying with the given finite automata, then the language is also accepted by the finite automata. That is the concept we will follow. Now let us solve here. So let us take the string, let us consider the string here. Whatever the string you are considering, it must satisfy even number of B's. Here you can see two B's are there. Irrespective of whatever the number of A's. Our condition is number of B's are even. So AA, BB, A. Now here consisting of even number of B's. Now similarly apply the extended delta definition, delta cap of Q naught comma. The given original string as it is, you can take AA, BB, A. Apply the second property of delta cap. So you can separate every time inputs till you will get null, till this step you will get. So now first A is separated. So next step B is separated. So next here you can separate B. Next you can separate A here. Next you can separate A, then you will get null. Now you know this value delta cap of Q naught comma epsilon equal to Q naught. That is substituted here. Now this input comes here Q naught on A. See the given automata, by seeing delta value, you can substitute delta of Q naught on A. So what is this value Q naught? You can see the transitions. Now this input comes here. Now again delta of Q naught on A, same, you will get Q naught. Now this input comes here. Now delta of Q naught on B equal to Q1. Now this input comes here. Then delta of Q1 on B, you will get Q naught. Just then input comes here. Then final value delta of Q naught on A equal to Q naught. So here Q naught belongs to F. You can check once what is the final state here. Here you can see Q naught is the final state. So therefore, finally we derived a state which is belongs to F. So therefore, as per our string acceptance condition, therefore the string AA BBA is accepted by the given finite automata M. Therefore, automatically the language L of M is accepted by given finite automata. So like that, we can check the accepted languages by the given finite automata. So that's all about acceptance of strings and languages by any given finite automaton. Now we'll move to our next concept, structural representation. So during finite automaton, some important notations are used to represent structures. So there are two important notations that are not automaton like, but play important role in the study of automata and their applications. The first one is grammar, the concept of grammar. So this concept we already covered during our discussion of fundamental concepts of automata theory. We discussed about what is a grammar or a formal grammar. So which is a tuple definition consisting of G equal to, we discussed VTSP. This is the grammar definition. The productions are defined in the form of alpha derives beta. where alpha belongs to V union T positive closure, which does not include null, whereas beta belongs to V union T star closure, which includes null. So this is the definition of grammar. So this notation we will use for representation of structure of the programming languages. Then another notation, regular expressions. So regular expression is also used to represent the patterns of strings from the text data that can be represented using this notation, that is regular expression. Now we will see one by one with a brief explanation followed by examples. So grammars, the definition we already know. Here again, we no need to repeat here. Directly, we will describe how these grammars are useful for structural representation. So grammars are useful models when designing software that processes data with a recursive structure. So the best known example is a parser or syntax analysis, which is one of the phase of a compiler. This is the second phase of compiler. In the applications of finite automata, one of the application is compiler construction. First phase of compiler, lexical analysis or scanner, the automata is used. So whereas the grammars, the concept of grammars mainly used in the parser or syntax analysis of the compiler, which is the second phase of compiler. So which deals with the recursively nested features of the typical programming language, such as expressions. So a programming language which consisting of expressions like arithmetic, conditional, and so on operations will be used. Now, let us consider one example. So for instance, a grammatical rule like E derives E plus E. What is E derives E plus E is a production. So here you can observe in this production, this is alpha. Now right hand side after right side of the arrow, this is beta. So alpha contains E. What is E here? This is capital E means variable. Now this is also variable. This is also variable. Now what is plus here? This is T. So what is T here? Terminal. So in the grammar definition. So now here actually what is E here? E is nothing but expression. So E derives E plus E states that an expression can be formed by taking two expressions. Right hand side you can see, the left hand side expression is formed by using the right hand side expression. What it contains in the right hand side? Two expressions, E, the same expression. But these two are combining by using a plus symbol, that is arithmetic operator addition. So taking two expressions and connecting them by a plus sign. This rule is typically of how expressions of real programming languages are formed. This notation will be used in our real programming languages. So we will study about the context-free grammars under type 2 of Chomsky hierarchy. There we will discuss more about these expressions representations. So that is the use of grammars for structural representation. Then coming to second representation, regular expressions. So regular expressions also denote the structure of data, but especially this is for text strings. For instance, the patterns of strings they describe are exactly the same as what can be described by finite automata. So the style of these expressions differs significantly from that of grammars, and we shall content ourselves with a simple example here. So let us consider the example. So the unique style regular expression. Let us consider here the unique style regular expressions. So denoted with within single code we have represented the expression. So first what it contains, the uppercase letters capital A to Z, then lowercase letters small a to Z, then combining these, so with followed by space within square brackets, then again followed by two uppercase letters, that is A to Z and A to Z. So this regular expression This is an example of regular expression. Represents capitalized words followed by a space and two capital letters, the last two. So this expression represents patterns in text that could be, for example, a city, a state, a place, a location. And in case of missing some multi words can be captured by using the more complex expression. Here you can observe, here some complications are there, more repetitions are there inside. First, starting with the capital letters, either A to Z, followed by lowercase letters A to Z up to this common. Then again within brackets you can see space, followed by capitalized letters, then lowercase letters, then using asterisk repeating once or several times, then it's whole again repeating, then again space followed by two capitalized letters. This is complicated expression which shows multi combination of words. So this is the structure of a regular expression which is used to represent the text strings especially. So then coming to our next concept, automata and complexity. So during our course introduction, we discussed about the overview of course objectives and outcomes. In objective and outcome, we have the last one, decidability. Differentiate between decidability and undecidability. Then during the problems also, the basic concept we discussed, what is the problem of any automata. That depends on what a computer can do at all. That is decidability. So decidability is nothing but a problem that can be solved with a computer. That is called as decidable. A problem that cannot be solved with a computer, then that is said to be not decidable. That means unsolvable. So the same concept will be used during the automata and complexity. Here complexity means we will use time factor, the space, so time taken. So automata are essential for the study of the limits of computation. There are two important issues. The first one is what can a computer do at all? This study is called as decidability. What is decidability? Just now we mentioned. And the problems that can be solved by computer are called as decidable problems, also called as solvable. So in the last unit of our course, we will study in detail about the decidability and undecidability. So decidability also called as solvable. So a problem that can be solved with a computer is called as decidable or solvable. Then a problem that cannot be solved with computer, that is undecidability. So that is undecidable or unsolvable. The more details we will discuss during our last unit. So automated complexity, this issue can be addressed whenever designing any automata. Then the second issue we are going to consider, what can a computer do efficiently? Efficiency can be measured by using time factor. So this study is called as intractability. So, and the problems that can be solved by a computer using no more time than some slowly growing functions of the size of the input. These are all called tractable. Tractable is nothing but using less time than slowly growing functions with the limited size of the input. So comparing with those, less time will be used, not more time. That is called as tractable. So often we take all polynomial functions to be slowly growing. All polynomial functions we will call it as slowly growing functions. While functions that grow faster than any polynomial are deemed to grow too fast. So this is the complexity based on the intractability. Then this is decidability. So these two issues are with corresponding to automata. So we have to address. Okay, that's all about this lecture. Now we will stop here. We will review the summary of this lecture, what we discussed. So we discussed about under Introduction to Finite Automata, acceptance of strings and languages, by using the extended delta definition of finite automata. Then we demonstrated various examples for acceptance of strings. Then also demonstrated the examples related to the acceptance of languages by the given finite automata. So later we discussed the structural representation of finite automata. Two important notations we addressed here: grammars and regular expressions, and their purpose and examples also demonstrated. Finally, we discussed about automata and complexity with respect to the two important issues: what a computer can do at all, then how a computer can do efficiently. So the first one is based on the decidability concept. The second one is based on intractability, which is based on the time factor. Decidability means a problem that can be solved with a computer is called as decidable or solvable. So now we'll stop here. So you can practice whatever the problems we solved in this lecture. You can solve already solved problems. Then you can take some extra examples. Then you can practice. Then you will get clear idea. So now we are stopping here. Till then, goodbye. Happy learning.